Hey guys, how you doing? This will be episode 3 in the series for new Wetshavers, and this will be some help with bowl lathering. Now, I confess I am a face lather about 95% of the time. The only time I bowl lather is on weekends, and usually I do that just to take some pics of the lather on the brush and so on. I really prefer face lathering because I can get a better feel for the lather, the level of hydration in it. It just provides me feedback that bowl lathering doesn't give. However, bowl lathering is not terribly difficult, and I have to tell you, there's not an exact formula for water to soap ratio and air and all that. You just have to experiment with it until you get it right. Now, one thing I want to say is if you have a boar or a badger brush, many people soak those, and that's probably for the best because it'll soften up those bristles. The boar bristle will absorb water, which is good, and the badger, it will at least get those bristles hydrated enough to where they're not brittle and so they don't break. With a synthetic brush, you don't really need to soak it at all. You can just wet it a little. Now, the other thing I would note is no matter what soap you get, I feel, and this is my personal preference, that it's best to put a little warm water on the top of the soap while you shower or whatever. Say let it set for 5 minutes, and that does a couple of things. It'll soften up the soap so it's easier to load on your brush, and it will bloom the scent. Now, many people talk about soap scents when they get a soap, and they'll open the container and they sniff it, and you can tell about the scent, but you really can't fully evaluate the scent of a soap until you let it bloom, warm it up, lather it. Then you really get a much better feel. More notes will come out a lot of the times, and it becomes much more apparent the quality of the scent. So I will be lathering today, or doing a quick demo on lathering, the How to Grow a Mustache Irish Cream. If you look at that cover, there's a handsome gentleman in there. I have had water setting on top of the puck here, which I'm going to pour into my little container of water. Now, why do I do that? Well, that's soapy water. Why should I let it go to waste? I mean, I'm just going to pour it back into the container that I'm going to use for water. That way, when I'm adding water to my puck here, it's going to be soapy. I mean, it makes sense to me that you'd say that. Now, I'm wetting my brush just a little bit, not much, and I'm going to start to load. And water, of course, is going to go all over the place because it was still in there, but no problem. As you can see, already we're getting, many people call that proto-lather. I'm a big proponent of really loading the brush fairly heavily. There's no reason not to. If you're going to be in this hobby, you're going to accumulate a lot of soaps, and really, you're not going to use that much soap by lathering the brush thoroughly anyway. So as you can see here, we're getting a nice load on this brush. Some people say they load for 30 seconds, this and that. I don't really count. I just kind of look at the brush, and when I see that it looks pretty full with soap, I'll press it down. It looks good. I'll take it to my bowl and begin. So here we have a bowl that has some ridges in it, and that's really, really helpful because it'll create agitation that helps with your lathering. So a lot of people do swirls. A lot of people do side-by-side motions. Let me move around a little bit so you can see here. I just tend to go side to side fairly vigorously, and if you can look there, you can see lather already building. Now, you can see there how dry that is, so time to add water. I'm just going to dip my brush a little bit in the water and go again. A lot of people like to swirl like this. I like to use sort of back and forth motions. And as you can see down at the bottom right here, lather is starting to build. There's really no correct formula, like I said before. It just requires agitation, water, and a little bit of air. So I'm going to wet my brush a little bit more, and we'll go again. Again, I'm just making back and forth motions there pretty quickly, banging the bowl every now and then. And as you can see, we're starting to get a lather. It really doesn't take much. The lather's about, because I'm holding this bowl downward, the lather is trying to fall out of the bowl, but as you can see there, lather. Now what you have to do is really on an ongoing basis, look at your lather, look at your bowl. I can see there, see it's dry? That means it's time to add more water. You have to continually add a little bit of water until your lather is nice and hydrated. And when it is, there'll be a nice sheen to the lather. I'll do some swirling motions now. Again, the lather's falling out of the bowl here because I'm turning it up to show you in the camera, but this is a very, very quick lather I'm generating for you. As you can see there, it really doesn't take that much effort. Just make sure you're not afraid to add water. However, if you add too much water, you'll definitely screw it up and have to start again. So make sure you have adequate product and slowly add water. But don't be afraid to add water because it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. And as you can see there, we've got a good bit of lather. I'm going to put this in my hand and just give you a... So we're just going to squeeze it out there. See, here we go. See that? There's a nice sheen to it. It's very, very slick. In no time flat, we have a nice lather. I would probably work this lather just a bit more, but if you look at it here, very nice, very slick. I can feel my hands just gliding across each other. There's like a little cushion between. That's a good thing. That's what you want. So this is really an excellent lather in no time flat. I hope this is somewhat helpful. I know I didn't tell you how much water to use, and the truth is I can't. You just have to continue to look at it. When it looks dry, add a little water. And just continue adding water and looking at your lather until you get a lather that, like this, when you put it between your hands and you rub them together, you'll feel some cushion there. You'll feel it glide. It'll be very, very slick. That's what you want. Again, great lather in no time flat. You can do it too. Just practice. When you're sitting around watching TV, get out your soap, get out your brush, and practice lathering. And in no time flat, you'll be lathering just like this. I hope this is helpful to you. As always, if you have any questions, hit me with a comment below. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And have a great day and have a great shave.